Lovely to see you again. So, I have one more test to do on my phone before we confirm that it really is past it. But for the moment, what do you know? What do you know is that my phone appears to possibly really be on the way out. Start the thing. Okay, so today I want to talk about time pressure because I have been chasing the clock, seriously, for the last little while, and it's just interesting. My life is not always insane and crazy, but it has been of late. And it's because, don't you know, when opportunities arrive, it's inconvenient, especially when your life is relatively tightly packed like mine is, and you have to make space for them. And then you're in catch-up mode, and then things break, and then you lose a day to the fact that energy is working with you, and you're just completely out of it and no use to anybody. Misty! Good morning, Linda! Good morning, Jen! Good morning, Sandy! Hello to you all! I know you're jumping on. It's lovely to have you with me. So, it's been a bit crazy, and you know, today I have to take my laptop, which the solid state drive died on Sunday. I've got to take that to the shop and, you know, get it repaired. So it's just been a really interesting time of things happening. And what's actually really delighted me about it all is that I haven't lost the plot once, which tells me that I'm becoming very much more coherent and more resilient in myself than I ever used to be. And you know what? I have completely blown it. I did the little nature spot outside on my phone to see if my phone was completely, well, you know, it looks like it might be. I'm going to do a factory reset. If that doesn't fix it, that's it. But I always have some nature on my desk, so these are the things that I have on my desk. Is this pine cone? I picked this up a long time ago. It's a very ordinary pine cone from New Zealand, radiata pine. But look at the fractal beauty. Hang on, point this at the camera. In the middle of the screen, Maddie. So, you know, isn't it glorious? Because I love fractality. And, I mean, goes back to my office days. I had this on my desk in the office when I was, you know, stressed and unhappy, but it was beautiful. And I still really enjoy it. And it just sits here. So, you know, this is a tour of Maddie's desk. The other thing that I always had on my desk, with all the sheep you were, oh wow, yes, you got it a full month. You did that so well. This is a feather that I picked up in Wellington one time when I was walking, and it's a New Zealand gull, a black-backed gull, wing feather, I believe. And I just have this sitting here. And what else do I have? Now, this is a story. This is the fob watch chain from my my grandfather's fob watch chain. He used to wear, one of those dangly watches, and he used to wear it on this, you know, across his suit coat. He always wore a jacket. So he was a proper Viennese gentleman, and it's got a little knot on it, which is, you know, a piece of copper with a resonance in it that's supposed to be good for EMF. But I'm so strong now that EMF doesn't bother me like it used to. So, small tour of my desktop. There's lots of crap on there as well, but I'm not going to show you that. I mean, it's organised crap. It's stuff like a calendar and numbers that I call often, and, you know, the orange glasses I wear at night time to stop my eyes being burned out. But this is my desktop. Heather, you're back, yay! It's lovely to be here in the office again. Amy, good morning! My poor, long-suffering, or whatever it is, husband is sitting next to me, out of camera shot, sharing me, which he does every day, and I'm so grateful for the sharing magic, because it helps me get out and be seen. And some of you, I don't think we wouldn't be here together without him. So, you know, I'm quietly, or not so quietly, saying thank you, as I often do. So today I want to talk about time pressure, because I've had time pressure. And I remember back in the day, however long ago it was, and there was lots of time pressure in my life, you know, just whatever, life happening. Oh, Julian, good morning. It's lovely to see you. I used to get tight in the shoulders, and it was like, I can't relax until everything is done. I can't relax until everything is done. And yesterday I observed myself thinking, well, it's 10 o'clock. Now, I would like to turn in at 10. It rarely happens. because I get up a bit before 6, about 20 minutes to 6 is when the alarm goes off, because I need to get up and meditate, because if I'm not coherent, you won't want to be with me, and I won't want to be with me. It's not nice. Since I started this gig of working with Joe Dispenza's meditation and getting coherent, I haven't missed a day because I do not want to find out what that is like. Ugh. So, during the week, it's only about a 7-hour night, and 8 is more comfortable, but 7, I can do 7 when I'm coherent, and when I'm coherent I get a lot more done, and I have a lot less stress and a lot less anxiety. So it's 10 o'clock, and that's when I like to be stopping, and I have a number of things that still need to be done. And the old response would have been to feel more and more, I gotta push, I gotta try, I gotta hurry, I gotta. And I was just watching myself and thinking, well, that isn't gonna help. Why don't I imagine that it's done, and it was easy, and it flowed easily, and I knew what to do, and everything worked out. Abigail, good morning. And it just flowed, and it was easy. And so I consciously chose that state of being. Now, I make it sound like I just did that. I have been making those kinds of choices for a long time. It's a lot easier now because I'm so much more coherent than I used to be. And I'll talk about what that is in a minute. But I was very aware that if I went into in fact, I hope I talk about what coherence is in a minute, because I might get greatly diverted, but let's just put that on the chalkboard. I used to just think I have to try harder, I have to work harder, I have to think harder. I'm sitting here looking at the screen thinking, what are we talking about tomorrow's life? And there's, great blank in my mind, and I'm under pressure. And, when you're under pressure and there's a great blank in your mind, it's like you can just spin your wheels and go nowhere really, really fast. So what do I do? Nora, good morning, honey. That's what I do. I greet Nora. Hey, you're all here with us. So it's a moment of choice, and I've made the choice many times. I'm just better at it. I'm thinking, okay, well, hurrying isn't going to make it happen faster. And imagining that it's easier than I think. We have this saying in this house, which my husband originated, it's all going to be easier than I think. It's all easier than I think. It's much easier than I think. And the more we keep saying that to each other and ourselves, the more it becomes true. And the more I relax into, okay, it's easier than I think. The answer's there, I just got to relax and let it in. And that was exactly what happened, right? I actually walked away from this PC. I walked through the door and into the lounge where we often talk, you and I. And because I walk around the dark and I think out loud. Because I find when I speak that I know by the resonance and the feeling of what I'm saying, what's true, what's resonating, what we need to talk about. And, it's a conversation with life, it's a conversation with spirit, it's a conversation with the source, whatever you want to call it. And just, okay, so actually I need to talk about what I'd be going through, which one way or another I often do, not always. And it's this thing of grace under fire. How do you stay soft and open and actually follow your heart when there's a ton of stuff coming at you, and it's like, there's just a heap of stuff to do and things happening, and, computer breaks, phone needs replacing probably, and it all takes time to manage, right? And my day's tight anyway, so I've been chasing to catch up. I've still got catching up to do. I got things that I decided I wanted to do a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that I haven't even touched. I mean, that's normal for many people, but anyway. So how do I do that, right? And how can you do it? The first thing is to notice that you're going into your old stress response. We talked about metacognition yesterday, I believe. Until you notice that it's just automatic for you to start tightening up and beginning to spin your wheels in your head. And I mean, it's not going to make it go faster. It's going to make it go slower, right? But the evolutionarily programmed response is, I got to try harder, I got to do more, I got to do more. But you're going nowhere because your brain is so wound up and incoherent, looking here, looking there, thinking, feeling, firing all these different neural nets, looking for something that easily fits into the gap that you want to stuff with something, and it's not there, so you look harder and faster. And the more you fire those different neural nets within your brain, the more incoherent it becomes. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Speaking your thoughts out loud slows them down. It does. It allows you to follow them consciously. I always say I have great conversations with myself. It's the one person that I can guarantee having a good conversation with is me. There is nothing wrong with talking to yourself. When you're consciously aware that you are literally sounding things out, right? It's a really good tool for slowing down a racing brain, to catch those thoughts. Say, hang on, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that, and just to articulate them. Just to articulate them. Yeah. How I get the answers I want knowing. Yeah, and it's not, yeah. Yes, exactly. It's actually a way to start throwing paint on the wall and see what sticks. Is often how I think, does this stick? Does this fit with me? But to start to do that process, I have to step back from, I got to try harder, I got to run faster, I got to push harder, I got to struggle. And that thing of crazy, I got to look here, I got to try there, I got to run harder, I got to push harder, that's what makes the different compartments of the brain, where all of those different neural nets go off, very quickly you go from this to this to this to this to this. That is what makes your brain incoherent, because it's like when you go to a symphony orchestra and there's no conductor. This is all the sections are playing crazy notes and they're all out of tune, they're all out of rhythm. There's no coherency. There's just nothing gluing everything together, and so nothing useful can get through to you like that anyway. A meeting with the board of directors, absolutely, and you are the boss. That's the thing. So whatever you have to do to actually get out of that really rapid, incoherent state, and by the way, you can be functioning very quickly and still be coherent. Going fast doesn't mean being incoherent. But what I find is that when I'm fast and coherent, I'm very focused. I know what I'm doing. There's a flow and I'm feeling it here. And this is the thing about feeling the flow in your heart. You've got to be relaxed enough to do that. And you can be relaxed even when you're really busy. I work really fast. I do. It's not just of necessity. It's what I do. I think fast. I work fast. Not everyone's like that, by the way. So don't feel, if you're somebody who is like a still pond and things sink in and then they just come out, everyone's different. But for me, there is just this really clear flow, and I follow it. And what I've started to do more and more and more, a lot more, is to understand that flow is going to carry me through every single moment of my day if I can just pay attention to it and follow it. And by that I mean when I've got my website content expert hat on and I have a number of tasks to choose from, and maybe a couple of them are urgent, and like, which one do I do first? Even there's a sense of, well, which one is calling me? And in behind the which one is calling me, there's a whole lot of, things that I don't think about. My fabulous brain is assembling all the stuff I know about the different clients and the different situations and who I need to get help, to help me with it. All of that's being processed. But when I don't feel that I have to assemble all that stuff myself, and I can rest in the sense of the flow that I'm in, it kind of gets thought out for me. I'm not abrogating responsibility for really pulling out, whoa, slam on the brakes. I need to seriously think here. There are some things that you just think, actually, I really don't know. Damn it, I don't know. And then I just have to stop and slow down and find the flow again inside me. And the sooner I can stop and slow down and connect to my inner knowing, the sooner I can get back into the flow of executing what that inner knowing is trying to get through to me. And that is what I have been learning and continually practicing in this rapid flow of my life right now. which allows me to navigate pressure with a lot more grace and a lot more ease than I used to. And you know, time pressure can really do your head in. And because, you know, it's evolutionary and it's kind of innate and ordinary and what we normally do to chase the clock, because there's not enough time, right? So this is a lackful thought. Not enough time. I can't get everything done. And the survival thought is, if I don't get everything done, I'm going to die. Or something really bad's going to happen. That's the program that is running when you are stressing over time. Whether it's true or not, and most of the time it's not true. But we run this program. I think, you know, we don't realise that inside ourselves, the way the brain is operating with that, I got to look for danger, I got to look for the solution, I got to find it now. But when you're doing that, the brain is operating in exactly the same fashion as if you're running from a lion that's chasing you. There is no difference. And the chemistry in your body is no different. And it doesn't feel good. And the reason why it doesn't feel good is because when your brain is running like that, you're in high beta brain waves, 22 to 50 cycles a second, fast, okay? Not comfortable. High beta is fear, anger, deep sadness, desperation, frustration, when you've lost the plot. The brain is incoherent. Nothing useful can get through to you when you're in that state of being. Yeah, and meditation, you know, obviously is my go-to. And you're going to laugh. I'm the person that you know, our beautiful friends actually introduced me to Joe Dispenza because they found him and started doing his work for months. I don't know how long it was, maybe a year, before I finally latched on because they gave me a gift. And eventually, you know, I picked it up and did it and thought, you know, this shit works, because it did. But, you know, I was a person who said, I don't like meditating. I don't like meditation. And I didn't. And I still, you know, I could probably better do it now because my brain is a bit more disciplined. But the whole thing of staring at a candle, which is what I thought it was, you know, the concentration meditations that, you know, that you told me about, Julie, and I'm going to focus on this. Oh, God, it would drive me insane. Because, of course, my brain was far too incoherent to do that. I couldn't rest my attention on any one thing for any period of time, and how to do that. And chanting mantras used to drive me mad because it made my throat hurt. It's like, no! So, you know, for me, to learn to open my focus, and you can do that easily when you're walking, yeah? And people have different processes, and this is just mine. What I have learned from my inspiration, Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I love it because I have this brain that likes to understand things, and he explains the science of why it's important, you know. And your brain is in survival, running away from the predator, running away from the lack of time, running away from whatever it is that's going to happen if you don't get that thing done in time. Your brain is behaving like you're running away from a tiger. And if you want to change that, when that's happening, your focus is very narrow. There's a tree I've got to avoid. The tiger is back there. There's a stream I've got to jump over. There's a person in my way. Clawing, fighting, whatever you have to do to get what you need, you know, quickly, right? That's a very narrow focus. And it's not helpful. So to get out of that frantic state of mind, for me, I had to learn to open my focus, and that means putting my awareness in the space around me. Can't just sit in quiet unless you point a problem. I think your phone might be playing with you, miss. I don't understand that. I certainly couldn't just sit in the quiet. And my brain would end up thinking about things, you know. So, you know, yes, full of thoughts and Mexican jumping beans and empty tin can. To make all of that crazy stop, to make that craziness stop, I have to open my focus. And for me, I'm practicing doing it with my eyes open, but it's easier to close my eyes and simply put my awareness in the space around me. And, you know, sitting in the office here, I can close my eyes and imagine the walls around me. I don't know what they look like. I can imagine that. I can put my awareness there, like I'm pasting my awareness on the walls. And then I can paste my awareness onto the garden outside. I know the garden well, and my awareness is getting bigger and it's opening all around me. And I'm taking my attention off all this crazy stuff that's happening, right? My brain can then calm down, and the different compartments that were all out of sync with each other will start to speak to each other. They will start to speak to each other, and there's no focus at all. This is the thing, none. The only thing I'm focusing on is nothing. It's space. And when I settle my brain down like that, what I'm really doing, and that nothing, remember, things that aren't apparently matter, then still 99.99999999999% space, and in that space is frequency and information and the mind of God and what I need to know. So I don't want any focus at all when I'm doing this. There can be a time when I bring a specific focus into a process, into a meditation process. Thanks, Misty, I understand now. But when I want to make my brain coherent, I want to focus on nothing at all. Nothing at all. And it's just a skill. And when there's that massive open focus, and I've got good at making it really, really big, because I've learned how to do it, because Joe teaches you how to do it, and then you practice it in the meditation, right? And it's beautiful. Stuff just flies in. And because my brain is so quiet and I'm not paying attention to anything except all of the space, connecting with the space, connecting with source, connecting with divinity, connecting with information, but not with any question in mind, when something does come in, I absolutely know that I'm not making it up, because it just arrives. And I've had instructions of all kinds of things just come to me in meditations. Oh, okay. Right, I'll remember that and I'll do that. So I've really learned to trust this. Just to let go, to step back, soften. And the sooner I can do that and relax and get out of my own way, the sooner the information and the guidance and this is the way forward can make it to me. And for me, Misty, it breaks the overwhelm. Because overwhelm means my brain is incoherent. And when I get out of that state and I open my focus and I'm focusing on nothing, the overwhelm goes away. Overwhelm just tells me I have mismanaged my energy and my brain is not how it needs to be. And so I have the system. I know what to do now. So this is what time pressure means to me. It is a deep question as to whether I'm going to remain coherent or whether I'm going to go into a narrow focus, get stressed and hurry and force and push and try to force outcomes, instead of relaxing back into the unknown and letting source partner with me to make things happen. And that's what I'm getting better at doing, and that's what I want to talk about. Big love. I will see you tomorrow, and I will also see you in 3.5 hours if you're on, because I'm going to give you an update on what our beautiful Saint Marie Gomez is doing in the Gambia. It's exciting. He's going back to school at last. So I'll catch you up on it then. Big love. See you tomorrow. Or in 3.5